we've known each other since the 80s,
Correct.
and we've seen a lot changing. And I still see you plugging away, doing the best work you can do, and you haven't slowed down a bit. What has it been like? Contrast between now and when you started.
Well, when we started, we were in a restaurant, and we started our catering business in a rat-infested alley in Capitol Hill with a little garage and a $500 van that we bought. And we started doing events for people who were Reagan first friends, and these were previous clients that, when the Reagans came in, then we had to start doing all that kind of stuff. And it made a huge difference for us, and we sort of slowly evolved and got out of the restaurant business and just stayed into the catering business.
When did the light bulb go off that this is the good business to be in?
Well, I think the truth of the matter is I've got ADD. So for me, staying in the restaurant every day, I was bouncing off the walls. So it was a great release to be able to go. And as it developed more and more, then you suddenly realized, well, look, I have a restaurant that I have to spend a week to do work and business, and I can do in one night. So obviously it wasn't too much of a difficult thing to do.
It made sense.
Not so much.
So how do you give advice to the young people coming up in this business on how they should get started?
Well, I think one of the things that everyone has to do is you really have to ground yourself and understand what it is you're really trying to do. Not that I did, quite frankly, but I think today it's a different world. Things were a little freer and open, and you could do all kinds of things then. Today you have to be a little more structured, but you just have to, I think you really have to concentrate on what you're trying to do. And then, really put your head down, put blinders on, don't worry about what other people are saying, be fair and do a good job and be consistent. And I think, those are the things that I always tell people. You have to be consistent. You can't sort of be here today and over there tomorrow.
Years that's been consistent that you can point to.
Well, our rule here that we do is we never say no to people. That's our whole rule. And it sounds easier than it is to do. And we always take challenges, and we always tell people, people throw things at us left and right, as you can imagine. And for us, it's very important to just say, okay, we'll take care of it, and we'll take care of it, and we'll take care of it. I can tell you how many wedding dresses I had to iron, how many people's curtains I had to have re-sewn from our seamstresses because their curtains were broken. And this isn't my job necessarily, but of course you're going to do it because you're going to help. And I think that develops a loyalty with people, and they know that they can always count on you. It's like, hey, guess what? No matter what happens, just ask him; he'll figure it out. And that's the important.
So is it temperament too? Because you become part therapist and part.
Yeah. Yes, it's definitely temperament. I think, you have to love what you're doing. I love what I'm doing. So, and I still love what I'm doing. And for me, it's like I'm here to help you. So whatever it is, let me know and we can help. And it happens all the time. We're constantly helping people with things that are way beyond catering. But that's, again, why there's loyalty, and that's, again, why people recommend us. And I feel that's one of the success blocks, I should say. Very often, people don't tell you what they want. You have to figure that out. It's sort of like, I know she said she likes this, but it's really not what she's wanting. She's wanting this. And that's the hardest thing to teach, because my people are saying, well, how did you know that? It's like, well, because, you have to understand that she's saying one thing, but she might be meaning another. And if you're not sure, just say, are you sure you want it this way, or do you want it this way? And then the client will say, oh, no, you're right, I want it that way.
Because they also I've been doing events with you, and we know that your clients trust you. In fact, they will take what they think, and they'll turn it over to you and ask you what you think.
Well, that's true. They do that. And again, that's something that you have to really work hard to get, because I tell my people all the time, very often people say, oh, Bill, just do it. You put everything together, just do it. And that's like, no, I'll do it. And then I'll put a mood board together and I'll send it to you, because even though you want me to do it, everyone has their own personal feelings about things. And sure enough, I've chosen purple, and you will say, I'm not really crazy about purple. Can you do another color? So these are things. But yeah, they do trust you. But you have to earn that trust. You have to really earn that trust. And that's something else that the people who are coming up through the ranks have to do. And you have to be right on, so that they realize that if you tell them it can't happen, they know you have gone to hell and back to get it. And if it can't happen, it can't happen.
So are there any sort of secret details that you watch out for when you're walking around that event that you know that are right or not right?
But you're trying to watch all the time to make sure that little things are taken care of. And again, it's part of the rules of service and how to serve people. Regardless of what you're doing, there's a right way to do it, and you have to do it the right way. And not everybody, even your clients, know the right way. So you just have to find a nice way to guide them into the right way of doing things.
So how do you learn the right way? Is it passed on, or what is this?
Well, I think a lot of it's passed on, but I think a lot of it is just studying and reading and understanding, because a lot of people sort of talk about it back in the day. Well, you can't say that. I mean, there's a standard rule of how to do things, and that standard rule is what you follow, whether it's the Tiffany's etiquette book, or whether it's How to Be a Gentleman from Yale University. Whatever these books are, they sort of guide you along. And if you read them and understand them, I mean, I was lucky because I came up through that rank. But if you haven't, then, like I said, I give etiquette classes all the time to my people. And just, we sit down and I give them all the information, and we explain why things are and how they are so they understand.
So it's interesting that you said that, so that part of your training is to do that. And how often do you have to do that?
We do it like 2 or 3 times a year, and I do it in a more interesting way. I'll sit them down and we'll have a lunch, and I'll French serve them lunch, and I'll give them finger bowls, and I'll do all these things, and I'll set the table with all these kind of weird silverware things. And so they have to, they remember, and you have to, it's like anything else. If you don't, it's like a language. If you don't use it, you start to forget about it. So it's just little things, and and every time it's a little different. One time we'll do teas. How do you serve caviar? What do you do here? What do you do there? Even though today people aren't asking for caviar that much, but you should know. I think that today the menus are far more healthy and more health conscious. I mean, they would have served beef tenderloin then, they would have served smoked salmon then, they would have served all the things that we serve today, but food evolves. It's constantly evolving. So we only have so many animals to deal with. So you take those things and you reinvent them and reinvent them and reinvent them. So I can't say that, listen, they were doing smoked salmon when you were a kid, and they were doing smoked salmon when I was a kid, but they're still doing smoked salmon today. It might be a little different, it'll look a little different. Way back when I first started, everything was on silver trays, and I started in the catering business, and I was sort of like the vanguard who said, oh no, I can't do that, I want to do it this way. And people would say, well, how can you do that? Well, sure, we went to gift shows and places because we were going to people's homes, so you want to be more home, you wanted to be more, how should I say this, you want to make sure that you keep the integrity of the client's home in mind when you're putting something together. And so we've done that from the beginning. It makes big changes and differences.
Well, I heard that John Adams said that a dinner party is worth 100 meetings.
Oh, for sure. Yes. You see it happen. You see business happen all the time. And another thing you have to be is very discreet. I can tell you, you see all kinds of things, and you just have to just take it, or you hear all kinds of things, and it's none of my business what I'm hearing. It registers, but it's none of my business. I can't run out and say, oh gosh, did you see what he just said? Because if I did that, I wouldn't be in business today.
Discretion is all.